I cannot believe this has happened. I'm so glad it has happened, don't get me wrong. This person absolutely deserves to be behind bars in my opinions. We have seen plenty of evidence that more than suggests that this certain person was rather fond of young ladies. And I mean young ladies that are too young to go and consent to what he was wanting to do and most likely did do. Who am I referring to? Well, I'm referring to the man who used to be known as Prince Andrew, the man who currently is known as Andrew Windsor Mountbatten. Of course, if you've been following the Epstein Files and the drama that's been unfolding in recent weeks and months, I mean, this has been going on for years now, decades really, if you look at how long the allegations have been going on, but really has exploded into the forefront of public consciousness. It's gone from being a fringe conspiracy theory, something that not a lot of people thought could ever be possible, to now being almost accepted as fact in most circles. Now, of course, Epstein is no longer with us. Ghislaine Maxwell is behind bars, but as of the time of recording, nobody else is currently behind bars. Well, for now at least, because Andrew Windsor Mountbatten has been arrested. It happened earlier today. It caught me completely by surprise. I finished my recording, I finished my editing for the day, I signed off, and then while I'm making my tea, turns out this had happened early in the day. It completely missed me by, and I thought, you know what, I love doing my shorts here on the political newscast for you guys, but you know what, this needs a longer video. I can't get all the information here in just 2 minutes. Don't worry, this is not going to be an in-depth look at everything. This is just going to be a look at what has happened, what the police are saying, and what people are also saying in terms of what is going to happen to Andrew, because this is unprecedented. This is completely without precedent. Literally, can you think of the last time that a member of the British royal family, yes, of course, a man who has had his titles taken away from him, but in theory, he is still in line to the throne. I think he's like 7th or 8th in line to the throne. In theory, he could become king one day. In practice, he will not. And even if there was a massacre of all the people that were further in front in terms of the line of succession to the throne, right? Even if all those people were taken out in some horrible incident, Parliament would never allow Andrew to become king, right? It's never going to happen because of what's been happening, right? We know that Andrew had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We know he was one of his main guys. He will deny this, of course, but we all know it. We all saw the interview that he gave to BBC Newsnight. That man has never stepped foot in Pizza Express in Woking. He has never been for a normal shooting weekend with Epstein. Always other stuff was going on. We know what was going on. We've seen the Epstein Files. We've seen the emails. We've seen the pictures. We've seen the videos. This guy was 100% up to horrible stuff, but he hasn't been arrested for that. He has not been arrested on allegations of, well, there's no other way to say it. People usually bleep it out here on YouTube, but you know what? I'm going to say it. Rape, sexual assault, nothing like that. That is not what he's been arrested for. No, he has not been arrested for that. He's been arrested for something else. He's been arrested for allegedly abusing public office, abusing his position as a public officer, which is basically the same thing right now that Peter Mandelson is being accused of. And I imagine, because the police have been investigating him for quite some time now as well, it's been a few weeks since that investigation has been opened. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom confirmed that to us in Prime Minister's Questions a few weeks back, that of course being Sir Keir Starmer. He said that the police are going about investigating Peter Mandelson, and I imagine that this has some sort of connection to that. Here's what the police have actually said, though. Here's what the police have actually said about this. So they've said in the official statement, quote, "As part of the investigation we have today, on the 19th of February 2026, we have arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. The man remains in police custody at this time. We will not be naming the arrested man as per national guidance. Please also remember that this case is now active, so careful care should be taken with any publication to avoid being in contempt of court. Assistant Chief Constable Oliver Wright also said, quote, following a thorough assessment, we have now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office. It is important that we protect the integrity and objectivity of our investigation as we work with our partners to investigate this alleged offence. We understand the significant public interest in this case and we will provide updates at the appropriate time. End quote. Now, if you're wondering, you're probably thinking, well, they don't name him as Andrew there. How do we know it's him? Well, we know it's him because we saw pictures of police in unmarked vehicles in plain clothes coming up to Sandringham, which is one of the royal estates and the one that Andrew has been staying at for the last few months or so. He basically got kicked out of Buckingham Palace a few weeks back by the King Charles, probably in preparation for this. I doubt, I mean, obviously it doesn't look great where a member of the royal family is being arrested. There is no good way to look at that. That is always going to look bad for the royal family. Of course it is, but to have it in the main seat, where the king lives, right, in the middle of London, where Buckingham Palace is, that's a whole lot worse. Can you imagine the crowds outside of that place as the police tried to leave? That'd be bad. Some people would try something maybe. So obviously he's been ousted from there. He's been told to leave, get out. His brother said, we don't want to see you around here anymore, Andrew. And they've sent him out to Sandringham, which is admittedly a lovely palace, but it's in the middle of nowhere, effectively, in Norfolk, which is the countryside in England. Beautiful part of the world, absolutely. Definitely go if you get the chance. Highly recommend it. But it's 100% him. It's 100% him. And one of the craziest things about this as well, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of crazy aspects to all of this, is the fact that Andrew will most likely have his fingerprints taken. He is going to have a mugshot. We're probably going to see that at some point. He's going to be in a jail cell. For those that don't know the difference, by the way, prison is after you've been sentenced and you have to serve so many years or so many months in prison. Jail, which is where he is now effectively, he's in a holding cell pretty much. He's going to spend some time in there while they wait to investigate him. Obviously, he's going to have a very good lawyer, you would imagine, and he's probably going to be released on bail at some point, but it depends what they got on him. It depends what they have on him. They might choose to charge him there and then, depending on what they have on him. And beyond that, we don't know. We don't know what specifically the police have on him. Now, this all centers, obviously, again, on the relationship between him and Epstein. Now, we know what Andrew was up to. We know what they are up to, right? We know what Andrew, Trump, Epstein, Kevin Spacey, all them dudes, right? So many dudes involved in this, right? We all know what they were up to. Bill Clinton, of course, how could I forget about him? So many big people are involved in this, right? We all know what they were doing. This isn't to do with that. Let me reiterate that. This is nothing to do with this. This is not anything to do with inappropriate behavior with young women. It is not. It is not. This is all down to abuse of public office. Now, the allegations, essentially, most likely, again, we don't know fully, but it's most likely going to center on Andrew feeding information that is sensitive, national security interests, over to Epstein. That's most likely what they've got on him. That's most likely what they got him on him here. We'll find out more in the days and weeks to come. Absolutely. This is going to rumble on for quite some time, but incredible. A prince, albeit a former prince. Someone who is still in line to the throne of the United Kingdom of Northern Ireland and Great Britain. I said him in the wrong order there. I'm going to keep that in. Morecambe and Wise it. I got all the right countries, but in the wrong order. You know what I mean? United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. There we go. Behind bars. He is currently in a holding cell. Somewhere in Norfolk, presumably. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm dumbfounded. You know, being a Brit, being a proud Brit as well, being someone who, I'll be honest, right? I'm a monarchist. I like the monarchy. I do. I think we should keep it. But clearly there are rotten apples in there, and he is the absolute most rotten of them all. He really, really is. Very big side note as well. I graduated from the University of Huddersfield with my engineering degree a good few years ago, and that was just after all this came out about Andrew. If I graduated a year before, I would have had to shake that dude's hand to accept my degree. He was the Chancellor of Huddersfield University before that. I could have met the dude. I'm glad I didn't. But there were all those allegations coming out in 2019. If I graduated when I was meant to, if I actually passed first time around in 2018, I would have had to meet the guy. But obviously, after what happened with Epstein, 2019, it all changed. But yeah, crazy stuff, guys. I will bring you any updates as it comes. I know it's a very long video compared to normal, but I just had to get my thoughts about this because, yeah, I mean, I'm in shock. This has happened. But what's going to happen? Do you think he's going to go to prison? Is he going to be sentenced? I would say the guy should absolutely be in serious trouble here for what he's done. But is he going to get done for this? Are they going to be able to prove that he has basically got rid of state secrets to Epstein? Well, with how many emails that guy sent, there's probably a few on there. Out of the millions upon millions of documents in the Epstein Files, there's probably some that very much indicate that he did. And with them looking into Mandelson as well, I reckon there's something going on. To arrest, right? To arrest a member of the royal family, you got to be damn sure. You got to be having ironclad, rock-solid defense. Or prosecution, I should say, technically. Sorry, I'm just in shock about this, and I've said it a bunch of times, but it's true. You know, you got to be absolutely sure. They do not arrest members of the royal family on a whim, on a hunch, on a tip. No. They must have something really bad on him when it comes to that. They must be certain. So yeah, see you soon, guys. Wow, what a early, I mean, not quite the weekend yet, but man, we're going to hear a lot about this over this weekend and this Friday. Unbelievable.